Hi, after 3 inspiring entrepreneurs, I have no choice. I have to admit it from the start. I'm a banker. So we're going to have to talk about money. If your son asks to borrow 100 euros, what's the first thing you ask him? What is it for? What do you need it for? Thank you. Have you ever, though, asked that question to your banker? No. You have probably asked, how much interest do I get? Now, that's an interesting question about interest, because what is really in your interest? What are you interested in? What do you think the job of a banker is? Of course, to make sure you get your money back. But is it then just to make money? Or is it to make money work? The truth is, our money influences the world around us unless we stuff it under a mattress. Our money is always at work somewhere. So consciously or unconsciously, we affect the world with our decisions, at least 20 decisions per day about money. Money is power. And when you entrusted your salary or your studiefinanciering or whatever money you have to your bank, you handed over that power to your banker. So, how does that bank work with your money? How do you want your bank to work with that money? How you view money depends basically on 2 things. What is your relationship with money? And I'm using that word relationship very deliberately. And how do you relate to the world? What is your worldview? Probably questions you should also ask your banker. Talking about relationship with money, you know, of course, the Beatles song, "Money Can't Buy Me Love." But in reality, are we not quite addicted to money? Certainly in Holland, we are guided by our wallets. At all levels, we want a pay rise, because the more we earn, the happier we will be. We want the cheapest food, otherwise we are a dief van onze eigen portemonnee. Ask your neighbor to translate it. We invest in the stock market and demand that companies on our behalf maximize shareholder value. And we believe our country is healthy when the economy grows and ill when it goes down. We are addicted to credit, to cheap fossil fuels, with all the usual symptoms of addiction, like denial. In the words of Paul Gilding, we use money we don't have to buy stuff we don't need, and in the course of doing so, we drive the ecosystem to the edge of collapse. And our response to the crisis is to do more of the same. And how do we view the world? Perhaps how does your banker view the world? If money is the root of all evil, as some people like to say, money has to also be the power, the source behind positive change. Money makes the world go round, but what way round do you want it to turn? I'm going to skip a bit just to save some time. The question is, how do we view the world? Do we view the world as one huge marketplace? Or do we view it as an ecosystem? Or do we view it as a human society? Which of those 3 systems? Sorry. I don't have to skip time. Okay, let me go back a few pages. No. Thanks. I thought I had to make up for some lost time, but I'll keep it short anyway, don't worry. Where was I? Okay, never mind. We take decisions as business people. Most of you are entrepreneurs. And entrepreneurs take decisions based on, at least that's what we're taught in university, on business cases. That means we translate everything into monetary terms. And we make all those cash flows contant maken, how do you say that in English? Anyway, we calculate the net present value and then we take our decision. But what we forget is that most of the value we create, most of the effects we have are not so easy to translate into money. And therefore, conveniently, we forget to take those into account. And still today, unfortunately, that's what a lot of youngsters learn in university. So we need value cases, not business cases. I am going to skip some more. Now the role of banks. With the money of their depositors, banks can choose to finance just any company that promises to pay the money back. Or banks can be much more critical and be selective and lend only to companies that will not only pay the money back, but also make a positive contribution to society. Now that requires a different look at entrepreneurship. That means selecting those entrepreneurs which have three strong connections. One is a connection to a very strong and inspiring idea or ideal. The second is a very strong connection to economic reality, a sound business model, ecologic reality. And thirdly, a very strong connection in the horizontal sphere. A strong connection to people surrounding you that support your initiative, your potential employees, your network. I'm going to show two examples of two of those entrepreneurs, enterprises here in Amsterdam, very nearby, but actually there's hardly any need to do so because the whole hall here is full of examples of such entrepreneurs that understand that making money is of course a purpose of a business, but making the difference is the most important purpose of the business. Here is one picture of a project very near here. It's called De Hallen. It's a very recent, complete renovation of old, more than 100 years old, derelict tram depots in the west of Amsterdam. They were squatted, they've been empty and derelict for more than a decade, and now, after a very gutsy renovation led by a really inspiring architect, it is one of the most popular hotspots in Amsterdam, at least in Amsterdam West. And in this huge area, I think it's something like 22,000 square meters, you will find a beautiful food court, an art house cinema, a bicycle recycling shop, TV studios, a children's nursery, a 4-star hotel, a grand cafe, and not only that, this has a very positive impact on the environment. Property prices in the immediate surroundings have shot up. The whole area gets a new economic impulse. And on top of that, because all of this had to be renovated really in style with the architecture of over 100 years ago, the fact of the matter is that financing environmental, cultural, and social entrepreneurs is good business. Indeed, it is all we at Triodos Bank have ever done ever since we were founded 35 years ago. And to show our depositors exactly what we do with their money, we show each of those projects on our website. As far as we know, we are the only bankers in the whole world that does this, to show each of those projects on the website. Banking for positive social, environmental, and cultural change is in fact an unstoppable movement. It is growing in the whole world. 5 years ago, we founded the Global Alliance for Banking on Values. And it's been growing, and now we have 25 banks worldwide who work with more or less the same philosophy as Triodos Bank, and this movement is rapidly growing around the world, just like the B Corp movement is growing very rapidly, and we are so proud to be one of the first B Corps in Europe and to be one of the very few banks that are a B Corp. And actually, You know, you've been told if you were there yesterday, and probably also if you were here during a larger part of today, that B Corp is not only a label, a certificate, but it's a very powerful, free online tool to do your self-assessment, to see how far you are on the road to becoming a B Corp. And I just want to mention that if your bank turns out to be a B Corp bank, you get 8 extra points in the assessment, just so you know. I consider it our job as bankers to connect people, to connect depositors and borrowers through their money, and to reconnect people to the powerful, positive potential of money. Money does make the world go round, and you have to tell us which way. So in fact, you are all bankers, or indeed, we are all bankers. Thank you, that's all I have to say.